All right, hey, Sam here with you. It's Wednesday, or no, pardon me, Thursday, February 15th, and I thought I'd do something a little different here. So here's something that I know a lot of crypto traders, experiment with. You come in for the day, and maybe just starting, maybe your book is flat, or you've got some excess capital, and you're looking for a trade. So how do we go about doing that? Well, of course, one thought is you start buzzing through the Twitter sphere and the crypto sphere, crypto Twitter, whatever you want to call it. And there's been a lot of buzz about Ethereum Classic. Maybe you read something about an airdrop and you're like, I wonder what's going on with Ethereum Classic. So, a simple thing to do is just go over to Google and type in Ethereum Classic News and see what you can find. Well, here, what comes up right off the bat? What's the first thing I can find? Oh, well, this is interesting. So what have I got here? So apparently something going on with the Ethereum Classic. What do we see here? Two reasons for this. CoinDesk is a forecaster. There's a decision to include Ethereum Classic as a list in the list of verified digital assets. Okay, it's got to be good news. And then we have an airdrop, or you can think of it as a split. So the Callisto Network project, a new smart contract where they're going to be distributing those coins to Ethereum Classic holders. All right, so what do crypto holders and traders think? That sounds like free money. Well, let's go take a look at it and see, maybe there's something that we can learn from it. So if I went over here and I just went to Ethereum Classic, and I'm just on TradingView here, just looking at, okay, well, all right, where's the volume? Well, if I know for a fact that if I go to Binance, I have limited history because it hasn't traded on Binance for very long. But if I go over to Bittrex, I'm going to get more history. So if I look here, I'll just show you. So if you did it, you would know. So here, if we went to Ethereum Classic to Binance, all right, and I brought that up and I looked at it and said, okay, well, I'm kind of curious what's been going on here. But if I go to the chart and I look at it, I know Ethereum Classic has been trading for a good amount of time. So if I go over here and I look at the chart here, let's go Ethereum Classic on Binance, what I was trying to get to. So let's go ETC to BTC, and we'll go to Binance. All right, so if I look back here now, I can see that I'm on a 4-hour, but I don't have any trading history prior to October 12th of 2017. I know it's been trading for longer than that. So what I would do is then go look and see if I could analyze it on Bittrex. So here I can go all the way if I take it to a daily. You can see here, all right? So I've got history going all the way back to August. So I get more history. So I have this entire move here, and I want to get as much history as I can to try and get a handle on where I am now. So first looking at that, I can just look at this and say, well, here's the classic pump dump that we see all the time in crypto. And so looking here now, I would not be trading this as a 1-2. This is... this was a completed cycle, and I think we start over again here. So what I would do is I'd wick off this low and go, okay, well, let's get a good low here. What's happening now? Well, so this news has sparked some activity here. So even just sitting here on the daily chart, I can kind of look at this and go, it kind of looks to me like I might have a leading diagonal. That looks like a 5-wave structure here. So at first glance, I might do this and go, well, there's a 3, there's a 4, maybe that's a 5. So possibly, what I have here is the start of a new trend. So again, just looking at on the daily, I can just kind of get a look at that and go, okay, well, yeah, we overlap the 1. So I've got a leading diagonal, but I've got a 5-wave structure. So if I'm looking at that as a 5-wave, then I'm going to work from this low as a 1 and potentially a 2, 3, 4, 5. So if this is real and not just a pump because of the airdrop, then I can look at this and say, okay, well, maybe we're just getting started here. So let me put this in a different color. We'll go up a degree, and we'll sort of dig into it and see, well, maybe there's a trade here that I can position for because I have potentially the start of a new trend. It's only that. It's only the potential. So if that's, again, I'm working off the daily chart here. So if that's going to be a 1, well, of course, it's pretty straightforward. I'm just going to pull from swing low to swing high and be looking for my second down here between the 50 and the 618. That's my sweet spot for a second. That's what I'm looking for, right? It's, it can be more shallow than that. It can go deeper than that. But that's the high probability zone for my second. So, now what I want to see coming down into that is I want to see three-wave subdivision. So I want to get an ABC into it, particularly as I go down to the smaller time frames. I want to see that kind of setup. Right? So to tell me that, ideally, of course, the perfect place is to catch it at the 618, because then we can be much tighter with our stop placement, but we maintain all the upside. And we know, as I've shown you guys many times, that the negative 100 is going to be very close to the 1618. So I get an eyeball. I can just eyeball and say, oh, well, that's pretty good risk reward. So let's go down. Let's go down to the 4 hour and get a look at it and see if we can make some sense of that. Okay. Well, now we tighten up a little bit here and we say, okay, interesting. So here's where I'm looking for an ABC. I'm looking for that. If this is going to be real and not just a pump off of the coins that you're going to be given by holding Ethereum Classic, well, now let's just take a look here. Does this play as a 1, 2, 3? Yeah, that looks good. So here's my 4 overlaps the 1. So I've got a leading diagonal. What else can I find here? Anything else to support the idea that I'm setting up for a good pivot here, and I'm looking for a 3-wave to come down here to give me a second? That's the hot box that I'm after here. Well, I would kind of work backwards in here and say, well, how was this pivot? Well, that looks pretty good. So from swing low to swing high, I go right to the 50. Here's where the algos are going to buy it. They go right to their target. They actually get through it a little bit. Right? So maybe a little extra juice because of the idea of free money. So is this just the push up because this is greed, right? So that's greed, and now they're just going to sell it off, or is this the start of something more legit? Are we going into a new trend? Well, additional things that I would look at here. So let's tighten this up here so we get right on that low. I would certainly want to get a pitchfork on it. So if hang up. Okay, so let's try that again. So if I get right on my low here, up to my 3 high, well, I'm going to pull down to my first low. Well, that's kind of interesting. So I get, I got a confluence zone here. So I get a little hot box up here where I've got my algo target right in line with my median line, right? So here's the corner pocket down here, right? On the first dip ends up. So, that's a judgment call. So you get the corner pocket here with 80% odds of getting the median line, right? So we know that's as I will often tell you, is my favorite trade. But it's not a 3-wave structure. So it's not as good here because likely when you see that, that's the A wave. Then we get an A, B, C. We come down. So was there anything to validate that? So if we pull here, here's the 50. Well, here's the target down there. It doesn't get there. So the algos don't get it there. We double bottom, and then up we go. There's the rip. So this is where people get the news, and then up we go. So that would just, what it's doing is just giving you confidence that you have a good pivot here as your potential 1. So let me take some of this off now that we can be fairly confident that we've got a good 1 there. So now looking at that, I'm going to, again, as I just did, I'm going to pull from my low to my high here. And here's the zone. So now it's just kind of a waiting game. There's no reason to try and jump into this now. So it looks like it's unfolding. So if I put the wave on that, now it's a bit of a waiting game. So we know we've got a coin that's in play, that's moving. But there's the potential for this to just fall back down. Now that we've had the distribution, do we just fall back down? Are we heading back to the lows? Does this just end up being an A, B, C, or something? This is where you just don't know, but you certainly have a 5-wave structure to work off of. So I wouldn't be chasing it until I got more subdivision here, but I would sure want to know if we come back to visit this 50. I would sure want to know about that. All right, so it looks like it's right by the book here. So again, it's this is one where you want to identify it. We've had this move here. Is it something more sustainable? Here would be your first target here. So you've got a potential play here. Algos will start buying it here. Here's their first target. But if that's going to play as a 1, 2, that's not our target for our 3rd wave. If we're going to get an Elliott count, our target is up here. There's the 3rd up here. So do we want to try and position for that? That's the trader's choice. We certainly have the setup for that potential. Should we get down here, should we do it in a 3-wave subdivision? That would be ideal. Now a lot of times, we don't get it. You might get this. All of 2017 we got that. But here's the odds play. So you wait. You wait. So you know you've got one on the move. You've got juicy targets up here. You know, just looking at that. If this plays as a 1, 2, 3, what's your risk reward here? Let's just say you bought the 50. Right? Here's your target. You know, is it worth waiting for? Stop on the other side of the 65. Well, if you're going to give that maximum amount of room, that's 8 to 1. And that's looking for your third up here. We get that. Yeah, 8.26 to 1. Worth it? You make that call. I would certainly want to know if we get down here. And let's see, anything else I can look at here? Well, you know, maybe some structural support here, prior resistance. You know, this would be a zone that I would want to know. So, you know, I don't have to keep it, you know, in front of me. I can just alarm this. So I would want to know if we're going to come back and test these highs. So I might alarm it right here just to be alerted, so that if we're coming down to tap the 50, I want to know what kind of reaction do we get there. Maybe I want to put in a partial here and then look for potentially additional adding at the 618. Stop on the other side of the 65. So you average down your price, splitting the difference between the two. I want this one because I don't want to miss it. I want this one because that's going to give me an opportunity to put an additional add in with very little risk. Right? But the target doesn't change, so the upside is all there. So I just split it so I get an average down price. But I'm out on the other side of the 65. So a nice trade setting up. You know, one to definitely be watching. Right? So, okay, that's it for that one.